This is my new inexpensive Yamaha keyboard I just bought for playing live gigs. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? As you can see, I also have a sustain pedal, but I didn't actually buy one. Oh yeah, I went online, checked it out, saw one, wasn't too expensive, but you know me, I just gotta try to make everything I use. And I wanted this to be the ultimate Junkbox project. Even though a sustain pedal is just a switch, I didn't want to use a real switch. I wanted to come up with a Junkbox way of making this happen. And I did, and I'll show you how in this video. And if you're as Junkbox crazy as I am, you can make one too. So let's take a look at our keyboard sustain pedal. Looks like those commercial units. You got this pedal here, and when you push down, it makes contact, has nice action, and it's got a base and a cover. Let's open up the cover and see what we got. Not a whole lot there, but let's take a look. We have this pedal, has some aluminum foil around it, and a screw in it that's connected to one side of the connector. And if we look down here, we have a piece of wood that's covered by aluminum foil also, and also connected to the other side of the connector. But notice there's a little bump in that, so when this goes down, those two make contact. And you notice this is pretty springy, and all we have on the back is a rubber band that's wrapped around the back of this pedal and is secured on either end by a screw with a washer. And that's the whole pedal. So let's see how we might go about making this pedal. Here's the materials we're going to need. We're going to need some medium density fiberboard, or MDF. I have some in 3/4 inch, 1/4 inch, and 1/2 inch thicknesses. Going to need a piece of pine, small piece of pine, about 1.5 inches by 9 inches long. Going to need a small length of 1/4 inch dowel. We're going to need some household aluminum foil. We're going to need some screws and a washer or two maybe. We're going to need a 1/4 inch phono plug and some 2-conductor electrical cord. And finally we're going to need a rubber band. So if we take away the base and we take away the cover, we have the actual mechanism of the keyboard sustain pedal. And let's see how we put that together. We start off with a piece of 1/4 inch MDF that's 2.5 inches by 1.5 inch, and drill a hole 2 inches over and 1 inch up. And we do that in 2 of these that'll form either side of the mechanism. Then we take a 1/2 inch thick piece of MDF that's 5/8 inch wide and again 2.5 inches long, and we cut a 45-degree chamfer on the back end. And what we do is we take this and we put this together like this. And we put it together with the chamfer in the back near the holes. And that's how we start doing that. But before we do that, we have to cut a 5/8 inch long piece of 1/4 inch dowel and then cut it in half. As you see, that's cut in half. It's not a whole dowel. And we're going to place that on this piece about a 1/2 inch down, like that. We're going to glue that on, and then we're going to cover this with aluminum foil along the whole top and the front. Just like you see here, along the whole top and the front. And to make that a little more clear, I'm going to take this pedal off, the 1/4 inch dowel out, move this to the side, and as you can see, I have this piece in here with the 1/4 inch dowel cut in half in there and aluminum foil going around to the front. Next thing we have to do is actually make the pedal itself. So to do that, we take a piece that is 8.5 inches long by 3/4 inches thick by 1.5 inch wide. And then we form this shape on it. And this piece that goes out, it comes up 5 1/4 inches, and it has to be less than 5/8 inch because that's what it's going to fit into. It can be a 1/2 inch, it can be 9/16 of an inch, but it has to be a little bit less than 5/8 inch. And then we just make a nice shape any way we'd like up here, and that becomes the pedal that we push. And on the side, we're going to cut it down like this to a thickness of 3/8 inches, and at 2 inches it'll become the full 3/4 inch thickness. And that just makes it a little easier to push down on with your foot. The final thing we have to do to this is we have to drill a 1/4 inch hole, 2 inches from the end, and centered on the 3/4 inch thickness. So it'll be 3/8 inch up. And again, I'll refer back to this. We can take another look at this. You can see the 1/4 inch hole. You can see the cut piece here, and this piece here, which is a little over a 1/2 inch thick. Now we also have to cut a piece of 1/4 inch dowel that's 1 1/8 inch long. So what we'll do is when we have this together, we put this together like this. The dowel goes in here. This piece goes in here. And this is what we get. The final thing we need is the rubber band. We put the rubber band into one screw. We wrap it around a few times till it's really tight and secure it on the other screw. That's back together again, and we get a nice action. We attach one screw again, and notice that on the pedal, I've also wrapped the pedal completely around with aluminum foil here, and have made contact with the screw, so that when the pedal comes down on that 1/2 inch dowel that's also covered with aluminum, we make contact, and that effect is our switch. It's a zero-cost switch essentially. And once we do that, we connect the 2 wires to a 2-conductor cable, and we connect the other end to a 1/4 inch phono jack, and it doesn't matter which color goes where because this is just a switch. When that's done, we make a box without a bottom, and we cut a hole that's about 1/2 to 5/8 inches, and bring it down about maybe 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch from the top. And this box here is almost 3 inches high, which is fine. When we're done, we can put this all together, and we have our pedal ready to go.